Well, bonjour, je vais très bien, and comment allez-vous? All right, welcome to We Talk. Hey, we're glad everybody could make it. We're glad that you're all here. Hey, James. Hey, Chio. Hey, Lillian. How are you? All right. Well, first of all, we want to welcome you to We Talk because, as you know, we're here to make your week better. We're going to give you that inspiration and that information that's going to carry you through the rest of the week, and you're going to end it on a big note of positivity. But first of all, in our usual fashion, if you've been here before, you already know you got to have your drinks ready. And the reason we do that because we like to salute everybody on the live, okay? We want to salute all of you. So here's everybody on the live. Hey, James. Hey, Rudy. Hey, M.A. Jazz. But here's everybody on the live. And so you need that drink because we want to make it real smooth, and we know it's grown and sexy up in here. Old people and mature young adults and people who really about that business. All right? So anyway, last week we had a great discussion, and that discussion was what was the difference between faith and hope. Now, it was a very informative discussion, and it's worth taking a look at it. If you've got a little time, go to my Facebook page and review that thing because it's got some good information for you. All right. Hey, Whisper, how are you? But now, listen, we always have some great discussions, but this one right here is probably one of my top 3 or top 4. We haven't had the discussion about it, but it's just a subject matter. And the subject matter is this: how do we protect ourselves from negative news and negativity? Man, I mean, with so much going on in the world, I know people are very concerned as to how they're going to end up next week or next month, and what changes that are being made politically and throughout our system. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how you can protect yourself from all that negative press, all those negative people who always got something bad to say or something to say that you can't do, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. All right, we're going to distill a lot of that stuff. We're going to give you some tools that you can work with, all right? So without further ado, let me bring my co-host on real quick. But like I said, we hope that you had a great weekend. We sincerely mean that because we love each and every one of you. And we want all of you to prosper and do good and do well in life. All right? Let me see. Oh, man. It's quite a bit of people here. Y'all just bear with me. I'm gonna get it right. I already sent the Julia Hurt invitation. I don't see Keith. So maybe she's working out something. Hey, DeJoya, send me a request, and I'll get you on right away. What's up, Reggie? What's happening, bro? All right. Hey, DeJoya, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Man, you always having problems. What is going on in your
I
world?
told you I was gonna come right back.
I ain't hear you say none of that. Okay. Well, now that you're here, we're glad to hear you. And we're glad that you're here. All right?
Yeah, I had to run downstairs, and run for me is I had to walk. Ain't lying.
Well, we're glad that you made it and didn't have any problems. All right?
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. How you been?
Oh, man, I can't complain, but I'm kind of in a pickle right now. My baby went down on me. It ain't down, but I think I got to put a new water pump on the Infinity. So,
Oh Lord, have mercy.
man, I hate it, but you know,
Look,
it is what it is.
not the baby.
Yeah, the baby, hey, the old faithful.
Well, you ain't had that many problems out of it, so
Oh no,
you know
no.
it's all
Hey,
right.
I'm blessed, so I'm not even worried about it. I'm blessed, you know. But anyway, DeJoya, I don't see Keith, so let's go ahead and get started. Hey, we're going to be discussing how to protect ourselves and just how to avoid negativity and bad news and all those people who don't mean you well and you still continuously hang around them. I don't get that. If they are not advancing or helping you in your life, you might want to take a second look and see whether or not they are really necessary to be in your circle of friends. All right?
Well, some people just love that kind of stuff, regardless of what they say. Some people just love that kind of stuff, and you could say you take yourself out of it, but they don't. They fall right back in. Oh, I ain't talked to them in so long. I'm gonna call them back. Or I'm gonna talk back to them. Nah, some people just love that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's what that started with right there. And it be them sometimes. We attract what we are.
Hey,
So,
what you rolling around on the floor or something?
boy, I wish I could roll around on the floor. Shoot, I wish.
I hear all kind of background noise like you got on one of them rubber suits rolling around on the floor.
Oh no, I was opening my straw for my
Okay. All right.
drink.
Hey, Alex. Hey, Mr. Smooth. Hey, Marvin. All right, all right. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that, this George. I think it's necessary that people kind of understand, when you're involved with negativity, um, it can change your whole outlook on life. It can change your mood. It can change everything about you for that moment and even into the future. If you don't know how to channel all of that negativity and just kind of throw it out the window and start anew, let it subdue it to your positivity in your life. So let's do this. What's going on, Keith?
Yo, what's up?
All right, boss. All right. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get it started. I know you know what the subject matter is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So listen, we're talking about negative news and negativity. Now, the world has always had problems. Before us, after us, and while we're here, the world has always had problems. But here's the difference. In today's 24-hour cycle and social media, it makes it feel that we're always surrounded by crisis or there's something negative going on. We feel that we're surrounded by crisis all the time. And I'm going to tell you, if you continue to dwell in that place, or you seek out that kind of information, it's going to have a drastic and lasting impact on your life. I can guarantee you. So it always seems, because of the news, everything that's going on, we've got number 45 or 46 or whatever it is. I don't know what he's doing or what his objectives are, but it kind of weighs on us when we see it. I know people who turn away right away.
Yeah, he don't know what day is either.
Yeah. And that is the truth.
He don't know.
That is the truth. So we're always surrounded by it, even in our daily lives, even in our communities, our jobs, our careers, wherever we go, we're always faced with negativity. And we're going to tell you why. When we discuss why people love negativity and why you're drawn to it, it might persuade you to start thinking and living just a little different. Now, protecting ourselves, it doesn't mean that we ignore the reality. The reality is, yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff going on. Yeah, there are a lot of things that are going on outside of our control. So that's our reality. But when we say we want to protect ourselves, it does not mean that we ignore what's actually happening. It means choosing how much access to negativity we give our minds. Now, that's something we can control. We can choose how much access to negativity that we give our minds. Now, I know everybody on this line right now is trying to say, are thinking that is unavoidable and there's very little we can do about it. But I beg to differ, and we're going to give you some solutions. Now, let me ask the Georgia, and then I'll tell y'all how I do it. The question is, and Keith, how do you deal with negativity in a healthy way?
Oh, I was gonna say,
In a
okay.
healthy way. 'Cause I know you just X them out. You remove them automatically from your life, and you don't care whether or not you see them again or not. I get that part, and now, hey, that worked.
You know what? I just have to, you just have to, you just have to know that it's no matter what you do, it's going to be there. You know what I'm saying? Just like no matter how much you think about God, the devil's still going to be there. So that you got to learn how to deal with it, and you have to learn how to deflect it. When they start talking about 8 chickens died, I'll be like, well, I ate 8 chicken legs yesterday, so they died for a reason. You know what I mean? You got you got to learn how to deflect negativity. And some people, it's nothing you're gonna be able to do. It's some things you're not gonna be able to do. You're not gonna ever be able to change it. But the only thing you have control over is you.
Absolutely.
So I can control whether I take that in and let that worry on my mind all night, or if I'm gonna say, just like I said, well, she said the 8 chickens died yesterday, but I ate 8 chicken legs, or 8 people was fed, or whatever the situation was. I mean, I know that's like kind of rough, but that's what I'm saying. You just gotta, you gotta find your own laughter and things. And Greg, you know me, I find laughter in anything. I find laughter in anything. I was laughing about my grandmama the other day. Every time I hear from my mom and them, it's all, well, we miss her. Well, it's 3 years she been gone. I'd be like, hell, how many years was she here? And I thought about her. I was rolling up my hair. If y'all watch my reels, I made one about the hair rollers and it holding things together. Y'all remember them sponge rolls? Man, I used to hate.
I remember them.
Man,
my sisters and my moms used to have them little pink ones that.
Yes, Lord, and rolling on your paper bags. And I thought about I was rolling up my hair, and I thought about I said, well, even when she had went on up to the great upper yonder, and I went to the hospital and seen her, one thing was still holding together with them damn cubs, So
they must have made only one kind when I was coming up. It seemed like everybody in the neighborhood had pink.
They had pink. They didn't add black in till later, but just for real, you gotta just think about something and deflect, negativity or whatever. That's the only way you can make something positive out of it. Aside from, just like I say, just get away from it, because baby, I'll X you out in a minute. Like the FBI.
I'm used to that now, y'all. She ain't lying, like they say.
Listen, I'm better than the FBI, but that's just some of my tactics. I don't know what these guys do, which y'all know they're a little more curved than me, but we gonna see.
Well, we gonna give our opinion. Hey, Gabby. Hey, Francilla. Mini Train. Lovely. How are you? Patrick. How are you? Rudy. How are you? Hey, Keith, you want to chime in?
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
Yeah, 100% of the time in life, you get what you focus on. So a lot of people don't realize that the reason they got so much negative around them is because they're focusing on it, because negative is automatic, right? We're all born with the sin nature and the whole everything. So what DeJoy is saying is true too. You got to learn how to deflect, but at the same time, it's easier to deflect or move forward when you're not focused on it. So you're aware, but you're not focused, if that makes sense. Because if you're dream driven and you're positive and negative can't coexist at the same time, right? So So you have to, as a person, choose to what it is that you're going to focus on. So when they say the world's going to end, it's going to be a drought tomorrow, all the food's going to be gone, and we're all going to be eaten by parasites, you got to decide, is that even realistic? Some people don't assess what's being said as to whether it's really realistic or not. And a lot of the stuff that they say on TV, if you really break it down, some of it ain't never going to happen. So I think people have to learn how to also control their emotions. But at the end of the day, when you're dream driven,
Right.
you don't have time for anything else because you already know you can win. So if
Yeah.
you know you already won and the battle's won, why are we going to worry now?
Absolutely. Now, I agree with that 100%. Hey, Zuko. Hey, Mike. Listen, negativity is something that people have to master. It's just like your emotions. You have to master your emotions. Just as Keith just said, when you focus on something, you give that, because remember, every time you think of something, that's energy. Every time that you speak something, that's energy. So a lot of people don't understand that those things, since they're intangible, and people really don't understand how the spiritual world and how the mind works and how powerful it is, they don't really get it. But if you understand, I always relate to this story. If that old lady pulled that car up at 90 years old, her body is decrepit, and her grandchild got stuck under the car and she lifted the car up. That is a true story. That's not something that's made up. Where did that strength come from? Obviously, her body is not strong enough to master such a feat. So it came from her thinking. It came from her will. And once we understand those things, once we get past the physical, this world that we live in, and we elevate our thinking to a whole different level, a whole different plan, then people don't bother you. You aren't really disturbed by other people. Once you understand that, and anybody that knows, that's been knowing me over 2 days, there are very few things that affect me because I'm not emotionally driven. But that's taken years of practice. That doesn't mean that I'm not emotional or I'm non-emotional. That means I know how to channel it. Now, so let's talk about it. How do we do it? These are the things that I do, some of the things that I do. Number one, when it starts to get overwhelming to me, when I start seeing what is the number? 45, 46, 47, what is it? You muted out again.
Oh damn. Yeah, he two numbers. He 45 and 47. I think you shouldn't forget that. You ought to know.
All right. Hey, Louise, how are you? All right. Hey, Helen. So listen, when I start seeing too much of that and it gets into my spirit and it gets into my train of thought, I know how to turn it off. I know how to move away from it. Some people become so enthralled into what's going on that TV and what's most popular that they can't switch it off. So you have to learn that you have to be able to switch that thing off. So that allows you to monitor the amount of negativity that you take in. We can limit our news intake. We don't have to watch the news 24/7 just because it's on and popping and everybody else is talking about it and it's all over social media. You don't have to do that.
I mean, you have to look at yourself in a way. Cause if that's all you like, then you need to look at yourself. If all you like is everything negative going on and everything that's bad, and you want to, because I have people like that at work want to come to me talk about that, and they say, "Well, I'm into the word every day." You can't be into the word as you say. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I can't think of what I did the other day, because I just find humor in what he say. 475, 4578, whatever his
Everything
name
he says is humor.
I find humor in that. But the thing that I don't get about people and on a serious note, You know, when we first started this journey of We Talk, we started it during COVID, you know, and then I started the lunch lady thing and whatever. And, you know, I got so many negative comments about what I was doing and about, you know, We Talk, because oh well, y'all ain't talking about that. Oh, it ain't interesting cause this, and I try to watch it cause this, and you know, what do you name yourself the lunch lady for? And where'd y'all come up with We Talk for and all this stuff? You know, and it's bad. People will find the worst in something before they find the best in something. But the good thing about that is when you know you're doing something good and when you know you're doing something positive, it may take you a while to get to the mountaintop, but when you there, baby, you on top. Now with them other people, you know how you get on top of the mountain. Y'all know y'all was a kid, y'all get on that BMX bike or whatever it was, and you ride to the top of the hill, and you think, oh yeah, I'm up here, and you looking out, and all of a sudden you just down, you just start going down for no reason,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know.
that's
So
true.
you have to look at life that way. Do I want to do something where I can come up and I can be on top, always helping people up, versus riding down the hill, pushing people down as I go? You know, is that the kind of person, you know, I want to be thought about as? And even with social media, you know, a lot of people will get on there because you brought up about, um, you know, social media and different things like that. With social media, you wonder why you can't change your what is it called, your persona or your stage presence or your brand, because if you start out as negative, that's all people want to see is the negative in you. They're
Well,
gonna find, you know,
we're gonna
so
talk.
you know,
You know, we're gonna have this round walk robin discussion right now, but we're gonna talk about some
everything.
specifics that people will understand once I say it and once we have a discussion. Hey, young Tiger. Hey, Kathleen. Hey, Abel. JC 12314. Glad all you can make it. But listen, I've never worried about what people say. Now, I haven't gotten any negative comments from We Talk since we've been doing it. So you know, I kind of, fortunately, I missed the boat on that. All my feedback has been positive and suggestive. People are making suggestions. So, but the point is, even if I got those kind of comments, I don't live my life that way. So I don't repeat it. It don't affect me. If they were to say anything, if anybody were to say anything, and people that know me, you already know. I tell you, get from around me with that BS. If you got to talk about somebody else, then or you got to talk negatively about everything that you do, then I got to look at why you're around me, because that's an indicator. If you like that kind of stuff, that you're that type of person as well. So you can talk about them all day long when they're always negative. But if you're always around them, or they're in your circle, you have to question who you are. Hey, Alicia. Hey, Cornelius. And hey, Jose. So I challenge people with just simple facts. The simple facts. Why are you around someone who's always robbing banks if you don't rob banks? Or benefit from them robbing banks? Why are you around someone who's always talking about someone else if you don't enjoy hearing those stories? That's a good question to ask. So we can limit our news intake. First of all, we can take, let's say, 15 to 30 minutes or twice a day and look at the news or whatever we want to get caught up on, but just make sure it comes from reliable sources. Now, and Keith can probably tell you about the IT part of it, but just imagine how many unreliable sources are out there. When people push a certain agenda, where there's something to be gained by those who have the resources and the ability to manipulate and control you.
I ain't never seen them fact check now president. Let me see how long I've been knowing about President Reagan and President Carter. I think Carter was the first president when I was old enough to know, right at the beginning of Carter, right before Carter, when I was old enough to even understand about a president, And I'm telling you that to say that I ain't never known a president as much as Donald Trump, where they fact check him, where they have to have fact checked him, or even I didn't even know that was a lesson.
Here's my problem. Even when they fact check it, what happens? Nothing happens. So if there ain't no consequences to you,
but I'm saying I never even knew that was a word, a practice that they do until he came along, and then that's what I'm about to say. Now you said that, so when he took the words out of my mouth, even when you fact check some things and they come back wrong, there are people that's just gonna ride that coattail, So you yourself have to say, am I gonna be a Trump dumper or am I gonna be something else? You know what I mean? Am I gonna keep following along with this, or am I gonna go head on? So at some point, still, when you have to do better.
Yeah, well, because of the internet, the reason that our buddy is able to do that is because you can question sources, it's very easy to question someone's credibility. And we live in a world now where as soon as someone's credibility is questioned, people will believe it without even looking at the facts. So what they do is they already know that the stuff that they're saying is not fact, but they also know that there's going to be people who believe it because they said it. So now once they say it, then what they do is they change what they said after that, because most people don't remember what they said the first time. Right? So we live in an era now where the internet, you can easily switch around what you said. Same way you can send a text now and delete it or change it, edit it after you sent it. That's what they do. Right, so what they do is they change their story. And before you realize it, as some people, what they don't realize is they're caught in the matrix, but they're caught in the matrix of false and fake stuff. Right. So now you're believing something. You don't even know where it began. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they do. They do play mind games and they insult your intelligence. But if I said one thing on Truth Social, then Fox News said this, then I got mad at NBC and CBS for not putting my talk out and
never ever, excuse me, but that was amazing to me, y'all.
Yes.
Never ever have I ever, and I probably ain't that old, but 53, I think I'm something, I think I'm grown. I ain't never heard of that in my life.
Where every network doesn't broadcast the president, right?
And tell you why. Right. So we have to get to the point where we say we ain't having that. We ain't broadcasting it. We ain't gonna be negative like that. We have to get to that point too.
But here's the thing, and I'll give it to Mr. G. Right. They already know. He know they ain't lose and no election was stolen. You see, we're not getting political here. What I'm saying is they already know what they're saying is not true. So the fact that people get on that bandwagon,
he's saying not they,
but they meaning the people around him that's agreeing with what he's saying, right? So, but what I'm saying is that we all know it's not true, and that's why when we talk about emotionally driven, now people are upset, and that's what they do. They prey on everyone's emotions. They get people upset, get people riled up, get everybody's juices flowing, and then you arguing with each other about people who like him. So the people like some of our people arguing with each other about who's a supporter of him and who's not, and not even looking at the real issue. And that's what they do. And that's why you got to control your mind.
Exactly. Yeah. Amen. I agree 100%. It's all about distractions. So my contention is very simple. If we live in a free and democratic society, and our Constitution and our laws are built on a moral principle, there should be consequences for influencing, or I'm gonna call it swindling people and influencing people in a way that is not true. That should be against the law. That's just like flim-flamming coming up in my day. I'm gonna fake you out and I'm gonna do something else. Instead of selling you a bag of weed, I'm gonna sell you a bag of grass. That should be illegal, right? So and I'm not only, I don't want to harp on number 47 because I don't think we should give him the platform to talk about it. And so I'm just talking about negativity as a whole. Now I understand that freedom of speech, but sometimes we go so far to the right where we violate other people's freedoms, if that makes sense to you. We have no problem with people being able to express themselves. That's what our Constitution called for, and we have that right to do so. But if we're using it in a manner that's detrimental to the principles of society, then it should be against the law. I shouldn't be able to, if I sold you something and I gave it intrinsic value that was far greater than what it's worth, you have a recourse. You can take me to court, you can sue me, and a judge can take if it were a car, for example, he or she can take the blue book value of that car and say, no, you swindled her, so you took him. So that is against the law. Our moral code has been just destroyed. There's no more moral compasses that we use to measure anything by. There's no moral compass that we use anymore. So when we have people that's doing all this wayward stuff, all these things that are illegal, then if we don't have consequences, why do we think they're going to stop? Listen. Number 47 has sued more people, more television, more companies, more countries, more than any person on this planet. He sues Fox News, he sues CBS, he sues all of these people. So, and I get it, he's a business person. But if you have a moral compass, I don't care if you are an architect, or astronaut, or a business person, then what guides you is your morality, not your ability to impress people with narcissistic behavior, not your ability to make $2 billion because you pull that Jedi mind trick on everybody, not so that you can send not representatives of this country as our Constitution calls for, but we send our son-in-laws and our sons to countries to meet with heads of these countries and work business deal while I am the president holding the highest office on planet Earth. So if there ain't no consequences, what do we expect to be done? Nothing. Nothing at all. So that's why we want to have this discussion. Certain things we can't control until the grand architect says, okay, that's enough. Now let me step in and do what I do. Hey, Island Girl, how are you? Hey, EIG Garfield. And Oksana, how are you? Oksana, I believe it is. And Miss, what is that? Live some Neige. Hey, how you doing? You know who I'm talking to. Hey, sis, how are you?
He sure be messing y'all name up. He don't mean no
I'll
harm.
mess one up tonight. That was that last one. Most of them I get correct. But anyway, they can charge it to my, how's it go? Charge it to my heart, not my head. You got it. Hey, Trey, what's happening? I ain't messed that one up. All right. So, it's just unfortunate. That's just the world that we live in until something divine intervenes and changes it. We're going to have to deal with it. And here on We Talk, we're giving you ways. Turn that crap off sometimes. When it starts filtering in too much where it disturbs your peace, or your decision making ability, then do something else. Only allow certain times of the day for you to absorb all that negativity. Now, we can control our social media. We can control ours. So, and we do that by unfollowing accounts that thrive on outrage. Some social media pages and sites, they thrive on outrage. And you can follow people, organizations that educate, inspire, or encourage. That's We Talk. We educate, inspire, and encourage. That's what we do at We Talk, y'all. So you can
Yes.
get,
Yes. It's about positivity. And I'll say this one thing. Some people are so caught in a negative matrix because they got too much time on their hands, number one. Number two, they're not dream focused or driven. So a lot of people talk about being spiritual, but they're actually not led by their spirit. That's why they're caught up in all that. Because if you're really spiritual and you understand the battle, why would you even want to be in that space? Because you know that you can block your blessings just by what you take in. You're irrigating your eye.
Absolutely. That was a point well made. Go ahead. I just had to say that, Keith.
No, I was good. I cut you off. I was giving it back to you, but I mean, I'm just saying is that our ear gate and our eye gate determines everything, and some stuff we just don't need to see. And and what I've learned, and I'm sure you learned, and DeJoy has learned, is that seems like more positive comes my way than negative. You know what I'm saying? I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't be coming to me saying certain things. They might be thinking certain things, but they know better than to say it because, you know, based on whatever it is, and especially if you ain't got nothing good to say, I'm one of those people, you give me some negative, I'll give it back to you. Oh, yeah, I don't know what y'all think y'all talking about on We Talk or this or that. Well, what's the name of your show? I ain't see you on, I ain't hear you say nothing nowhere. Where are you going? You know what I'm saying? I'm the guy, I'll say it back to you, make you look like you saw a ghost. That's why certain people don't mess with me, bro, at all. Most people don't. Cause hey, Mr. G, I had you looking like, hey, you really want to play that game with me? I don't think you want to do it. Go ahead, Mr. G.
And you just like me, Keith. You just like me. I will not allow you to, just like your problems. You can't bring your problems to me and dump them on me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will bring their problems to you. And once you're involved or engaged, then somehow it becomes your problem. If they don't get through it, then it becomes part your fault. I'm one of them people. No, you can't bring nothing negative to Greg Brent, Mr. G. If you bring it to me, I'm going to flip it on. I'm going to hurt your feelings, and I'm going to have you feeling some kind of way because it's not respectful. If you want me to help you, and you say I need $500, I say I ain't got but 10.
Oh, hell, you go with your money stuff.
No, I'm just saying. And I give you 10. Then 3 days from now, we run across each other. Hey, man, did you pay your car note? No, man, you only gave me $10 and I need $490. So how did that become my problem now? You know what I'm saying? So how do you fix your mind to even try to transfer or make me feel guilty because I only gave you $10? I didn't have to give you anything. So what I do, all right, bro, or sis, yeah, we good, man. I'm so sorry that happened to you. And you ain't gonna see me for a minute because I already know you got to get that evil. You got to get that negativity. You got to get that out of you.
Listen, y'all be doing it all good. I come across, I be the mean when I be like, can you Google you? Because I can Google me.
Well,
can you, I'm quick to tell you that. Can you Google you? And they'll go back and say, oh yeah. I'll be like, I just got the little screenshot read. I'll be like, okay, well that's what yours say. Here go what mine say. So now when you get to where I am, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but I get tired. Sometimes you just, get tired of people, when they do certain things. And people think when you have to put somebody in their place like that, that's a bad thing. I'll tell you in a minute. Well, you may not see me one way, but you're gonna see me another way. But baby, you can Google me. I'm Googleable. Yes, I am. You know what I mean? You know when
Hey,
I
we
get the
we talk is Google
yeah
Googleable too, or whatever it's
yeah
called.
we are Googleable all the way
Listen,
around. You know, but
but
you know
listen,
you
I
But
don't.
at the end of the day, whether you can Google anybody or not,
yeah
I'm about respect. I don't care if you
yeah
can Google somebody or not. You're not gonna
Hey,
come.
say it
You're not
again.
no
gonna come in my space and be. Excuse my French, shitting all around me. You just ain't gonna do
yeah
that. And guess what? If it
yeah.
got to get physical, which it shouldn't have to, that's
I
how
got
much
them
I
pans.
that the pots, the pans, the fists, the feet, the hands, the feet, whatever. Hey, you ain't gonna come here messing up my dream and my stuff. What I
No,
got going on with my
but
supreme
you know
architect, you
the
gonna get yourself hurt, and that's the thing
but
that people don't
seriously though,
understand. But
yeah
when you that serious about your dream and your spirituality and protecting yourself, people understand that. So in most
yeah
cases, you shouldn't have to. But guess what? If we need to do a little stomping and a little make you kiss the dirt, hey, if that's what it take, you'll learn your lesson. You ain't gonna come back again.
listen, this one thing I done learned, you know, and this is with all this with the negativity on a serious side. Now I'm serious about the googling me though, because you can Google all of us, you know, but you know, sometimes you have to just you know you have to just put your foot down, and you have to just be just that cut and dry. You know what I mean? With certain things, you know I had a business opportunity. Well, I don't know if it was called a business opportunity or whatever, but it was something that my job was offering, you know. So the lady sent me this sad sob thing about, oh, we're sorry, you know, it's other, you know, you can try next year and da 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 da. And I got the email twice, you know. So when she sent it the first time, I was like, thank you for the opportunity going on or whatever. And then she sent it again, and I looked at it, I said, well, hell, what did she want me to say? I done told her thank you because I got bigger things in my life. That just left something open for something even bigger to come in my life, you know. And a lot of times people think when not so good things happen to you, or you don't get certain opportunity, that's denying you from something. No, that's setting a place for you to be for something else to come into your life that will help you even more, or that will be even better for you. So it might be negative. It might be negative to those people. Oh, well, she didn't get it this time, whatever, whatever. But for you, that's a positive thing. That's a big thing. You know, it just depends on how you look at it, how you take it, and how you're willing to just revamp yourself and keep you on 10 versus dropping your level down.
It's
I don't
all
know if
about it's all about
yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, and I don't know a lot of y'all, you know, I kind of watch Ray Lewis from time to time. I follow, you know, his account, and he was talking about, you know, how the eagle flies, and the eagle, you know, always flies above everything. And then he says,
You
so
talking
if
about the
that's
football player?
I don't know what one he is. I just like some of the stuff he say. We ain't going there. But you
She
know,
talking about Ray Lewis, the football player. That's the only Ray
yeah,
Lewis. Yeah.
he was talking about an eagle one day, and he said, "Why you think the eagle fly? You know the way he does so high, whatever." He said, "Don't you ever drop your standards to fit somebody else." In other words, I'm not gonna drop the way I'm flying and where I'm flying to fit what you doing. I'm gonna drop down a little low just to get to where you at to appease you. I'm not doing that, you
Hey,
know.
what does an
So
eagle do? A crow gets on the back of his neck
and he
and
don't pay
pecks
him no
at his
mind.
head. And what does he do? He flies higher.
Yep. So he got to
Flies
get off.
higher. And
Yeah.
what happens when he gets high? He's undisturbed by that crow pecking on the top of his head. Because once he
That part.
gets to a certain altitude, he loses his balance and
Yep.
he can't breathe, and the crow falls off. So
Yep.
he
So
don't
you
waste
know.
any energy.
Yep. So that's me. I'm the eagle. You can be the crow if you want to, baby. But the more you hang on, the higher I'm gonna go. So you just keep on hanging.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know that part. You know. But yeah.
Hey, Terrence. Hey, Orban. Hey, Flora. Hey, Bugs Bunny. And Sheila, how are you? Hey, but listen. All right, so let's get into some of the reasons. I already told you one of the ways that you can kind of deter some of this stuff is just limit the intake of the negative news and your most social media. Listen, I refuse, and that's probably why a lot of people don't understand what we're doing. I refuse to talk about some booty shaking and some killing and all of these different things. There's enough social media sites out there where you can get that all day. And it's going to cross your timeline whether or not you like it or not, because it's the most popular thing. So we don't want to do that. We'd rather spend our time giving positive news, giving ideas and experiences that you can use to enhance your life. Just like we deal with commodities, buying gold and diamonds and oil and fuel and whatever commodity that's high. More people need to start getting into that kind of stuff. It's not easily understood, and a lot of people don't have the fortitude and the discipline just to hang in there. That's why I admire Keith, because every step of the way he's elevated, and he knows the business better than most people that's been in it for a very long time. And that's because most people aren't consistent in anything that they do. I go out my way to be consistent. And I've always been one of those people, I'll do what the next man won't do. So if you are the one that really can easily fall off, then 9 times out of 10, we're not going to be able to get along. It's just, you can't, we just don't mix that way, because I don't believe in quitting. I don't believe in giving it my all. And that's from martial arts to military to commodities to anything. I believe that you're supposed to give everything that you got in the tank, because you can fill that tank up again. Leave it on the table. Even if you fail, still leave it on the table.
Yeah.
So we can control our social media, and by unfollowing those accounts that consistently bring you bad news and don't inspire you. They're always bringing you drama and outrage. And here's another important thing. Keith eloquently said that negativity exists because you focus on it. If you don't focus on it, then it's not going to go away. So that's the reality of it. But if you don't focus on it, it won't affect you as adversely as it affects other people. We need to focus on what we can control. That's I'm a big stickler. Anything inside what I can control, then I'm going to do the best to make sure that it turns out right. You may not be able to change what's happening in the world or any event that's happening in the world, but you can influence how you treat your family, your neighbors, and community because of it. Now, that's very important, because when something negative happens in your life, our normal default is we want to take it out on somebody. Excuse me. We want someone to feel as bad as we're feeling. So you go home, you had a bad day's work. So now you all salty and pissed at your wife or your husband. Excuse me. And you take it out on your kids. Or you go down to the corner store and someone steps on your shoes because you had a bad day. Now you got to swing. Instead of understanding it's probably a mistake and it ain't that serious. So we can control how we treat other people as a result of the negative content that we receive. The next thing is we need to balance negativity with positive output. All of these things that I'm telling you, we can control that. We can control what negative influence that we allow in our lives. So we need to balance all that negativity with positivity so that it doesn't grow overwhelming to us. All right? You can do simple things. And these are things that people think are corny, or they L7, or you know, that you just you ain't hip, you ain't what's happening. Read a book. Read books. Listen to uplifting music instead of violence and all of this booty shaking and bumping and grinding. Of course, we all do that too. But you can read a book and listen to music that's uplifting. That's what we do here. We talk. We talk about things that are uplifting, things that are important. Now, our delivery, if people don't like it, it's a matter of choice. We ain't everybody's cup of tea. But what I'm telling you, what we're talking about is real and as real as it's going to get. You can spend time in nature. Now, what does that do? People don't understand nature. You have to be in touch with nature. We're all part of this grand landscape that was created by a grand architect. And being in touch with nature creates so much peace, and it gives you different perspectives that are always positive. People who grow up in suburban America. Now, this is just my observation. Don't fact check me, DeJoya. People that grow up in suburban America, where they have grass and they have yards and they have space, they're some of the most productive people with the right moral compass because they're in touch with nature. Those who grow up,
I grew up in the suburbs. I'm with you.
already, where you ain't got but concrete and a 10 by 12 room, and you got 5 and 6 people invading that 1,200 square foot living space. Those people are normally angry. Or those people have a bone to pick. Or there's something going on. It has nothing to do with their chemical makeup as a person. It has to do with their surroundings and their circumstances. You are not meant to live on top of each other. Everyone, you know, when you, if you took psychology when I was in college, they said, spoke about people invading your space. When people get too close to you, that's a fight, right? When people get up in your face, they're invading your space. So that is emblematic to anything else in the world. Your living space, your space between and distances between people, the distances between your house and somebody else's house, you know, the length of your car, that space is necessary in order for you to be well-rounded and well-groomed. I guarantee you, y'all can do the research on your own. If you find and compare people who grow up in places where they have a limited amount of space, and they can't free themselves from that, those people are very aggressive versus someone who had a whole, now listen, there ain't no absolute to nothing.
I was just gonna say, yeah, people on the live, ain't no absolutes to this. Yeah, they're gonna start saying, "Well, I grew up in the suburbs, so that means, I'm no, that's not what he's saying."
Really, I think what he's saying, you know, to take, you know, some of that edge off of that is if you grew up happy, you had friends around. You know, we went to the country at my grandma's house, and my grandma had a Saint Bernard and 3 other dogs. My granddaddy gave her a bigger one when she was getting older. And I rode Foxy from my grandmama's house to my great grandmama's house down to my cousin's house. That was happy for me on a dirt road. You know, she had the little swing. I could sit on the porch, you know, and it would creak, you know, but when it rained, you know, you could sit out there in the rain and up under the fig tree. Now, I was all right till little worm fell on my hand from eating the figs off the tree. She had warned me, but I ain't listened. She had warned me, but I ain't listened. But you know, it was on my hand. I was pulling the figs off the tree, eating the figs. But you know, that was happy life for me. You know,
right.
I didn't
what you had. You
Yeah,
had space. I'm
yeah,
talking about the space
yeah,
that you had.
yeah,
When you
right,
go visit your
right.
grandmother and they have
Right.
room,
Space,
they have
space,
dogs
space.
running around, that gives you space. I don't care if you grew up in a inner
Yeah.
city where
And
when you allow that space, it gives you opportunity to get in touch with nature and to grow mentally. That's
and
what
let
it
me
does.
let me touch on that nature thing real quick. Let me say this, and this is a different live. I'm not gonna get too deep into this, but
All right.
that's why you're supposed to eat more of what comes out of the ground than the artificial stuff. Because being in touch with nature is not just being out there. We're also supposed to eat the right stuff too,
But
because
let's
our
eat
body.
lettuce right about now.
Right. Well, lettuce, they got everybody believing the matrix with that too. Just don't eat iceberg. Just make sure you
Don't
get a
eat
full head
that.
of lettuce.
Don't
All the
eat that.
lettuce ain't got the parasites now. So, but no, listen, right? Think about it, guys. And you guys, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh
If
yeah.
we're not taking in what the Supreme Architect put for us, there's a reason we're supposed to eat it. We're not supposed to
Exactly.
be eating what they say. Our diet is
Exactly.
supposed to be different. We not
Exactly.
supposed. So when you talk about you supposed to get some sun. You supposed to breathe in the air, right? Be around the trees. Don't trees give oxygen? Like we learned this in science class. Like, come on.
Yeah. What is that? Chlorophyll?
Chlorophyll.
Huh?
Yeah,
Chlorophyll.
chlorophyll. Yeah.
Yeah, chlorophyll. Yeah,
Yep.
that's what comes from the leaves and the trees and whatnot. So yeah, you're right. So there's a reason why all this stuff is created, and you may hit on a very big point. We're supposed to have our diet that encompasses things that nature produce, not things that come out of a can or things that are processed. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't eat it, but you have to understand that if he put it here for us to sustain ourselves and he created us, he knows better than us as our creator. So all those things that are in tune with nature, even being in tune with nature, understand why birds chirp, understand why the sea is a whole different world. The mammals of the sea. There's so many species of fish and whales and creatures that half of us don't even know about. Now, those explorers, they know a little bit more about it. Hey, Selma. Hey, Patricia. Hey, Sparkle. Hey, Chase Fred. And Elon. Elson, how are you? Yeah, we have to understand that will reduce some of the negativity. A lot of our diet has to do with the way that we feel and the way that we process our thoughts. If we're unhealthy, then we make unwise and unhealthy decisions. If we're healthy, we're more prone to make healthier and more logical decisions. That just goes without saying. So now the next thing is this. To get away from all this negativity and negative news, you have to stay connected to people. I know everybody loves the internet, and now we've got 17,000, 20,000 friends on the internet, which is fine. And you have to put those in the right perspective. You have to stay connected with people because healthy conversations with friends and family, healthy conversations with friends and family members help put events into perspective and reduce the feeling of being isolated. If you're by yourself and you receive a lot of negative information, it gets inside of your spirit. And if you're not a strong enough individual, and I don't even want to use the word strong because I don't want people to think less than because they don't have the the willpower or the stamina to deal with certain things. Because even in any of our weakest moments, we can succumb to some things that we thought that we would never succumb to. So when you're with healthy people that care about you, and you have conversations, healthy conversations, it eases the stress in your life that's brought on by the negativity that the world is going to give us, regardless of whether or not we like it or not.
And I think with all of this we talking about, you just got to get to a point. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm doing a detox. I'm doing a detox."
Oh,
When you say you're doing a detox, that just don't include taking these supplements and this and that and the other to clean out your body physically. When you do a true detox, because I'm about to start doing one in a minute, that means you have to cleanse yourself mentally and spiritually and then physically. Because if I'm cleaning myself physically from the inside out that way, and then I'm still not detox mentally and from the spiritual standpoint, then nothing's gonna work for me. Nothing's gonna
yeah.
work for you. So
Mhm.
when you start talking about the things that we're talking about now, you have to be ready. One, you have to be ready to detox your body. And when the spirit leads you to take these certain things out, don't be saying, "Oh, I don't want to take that out because I need this though." I don't want. Nah, you got to be ready to risk and give it all. So you can't just move into this mind space of what we're talking about, and you take out some things, or you take out a one thing, and you don't take out another thing. You have to be able to, when you take negativity out of your life, you have to be willing to remove it all, not just that part
Absolutely.
that you find uncomfortable to you. Because if you think about it, there's some negative things that we harbor and that we hold, and they bring comfort to us, right? Or we
Yeah, yeah.
think that it's
That's
bringing
why they hold
comfort to
on
us.
to them.
So that's what I'm saying. So you have to get to a point when you start moving negative things out of your life. You got to be able to remove it all. And me, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, when I moved into my new place, I threw away and gave away so much, and some things I was holding on to just because it was sentimental, but it was from a part in my life that I'm not there anymore. And people don't believe that, but when you start tossing out stuff, some of that mental connection to some stuff, that stuff be something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to get to a point where you not only detox and declutter, your social media life and all of these lives. You gotta detox your physical, you gotta detox your mental, you gotta detox your spiritual, all of that stuff. You
Yeah,
know,
when you talk about the mental, what you're saying is
don't
exactly right, but some of it becomes subconscious because the people are so deep in it. So it becomes second nature.
yeah.
So the negative becomes automatic.
Yeah,
So it's
but
no
that's what I'm
longer their
saying.
conscious, it's no longer their conscious mind, it's subconscious. And that's the place you
Yeah.
don't want to be. When your
But that's
subconscious is trained negative,
yeah. But
you
see,
are
that's
on
what
the,
I'm saying. You
yeah,
have you
yeah.
have to get to a point where you willing to just dive in. Y'all know that song I think with Trey Songz, not in this manner, but called Dive In. You gotta be ready to dive in there, baby, because you gotta get through all the sludge. You know what I'm saying? So
Chill. Trey
you
Songz. Yeah, you
can't
said Trey Songz
yeah.
in the sludge.
Dive in.
Chill.
That's what it is called, y'all. Go on, go on. But
Yo, you
you have
go on. You go
you you
on.
have you
You go on
yeah,
with
Lord.
that.
But you gotta get to that point where you're ready to just, dive in there, get it all out. Bring your shovels, your boo-boo boots and all that, because you're gonna step in some stuff. You gotta clear paths and everything. And I think a lot of people, when we're talking about this, we're talking about this subject matter from this standpoint. So when we bring things to you all from us, it's in an educated manner. It's well thought about. Yes, analytical and things like that. But sometimes you have to go the analytical route for things to make sense, for you to be able to pick things apart. Now here I go with the teacher thing. Yeah, you can go and say what you want to say about my little teacher, also in the elementary thing, because I be listening to y'all military
I'm not
stuff, so
saying
whatever.
that.
But
I'm not
you know
saying that.
sometimes you have to like literally analyze things,
Yeah.
and
Hey,
and know that it's got to come out of there. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So yeah, that's just my tidbit to everybody who is probably looking at us, in a different light.
well, I
I just
don't.
want
I
to put
think
it
most
that
of
way.
our audience, they know, but they get what we've been doing. We've been doing this for a
Yeah.
number of years, so our audience is our audience, just like a rock star. Their fans are going to be their fans.
Oh
So,
yeah, baby. Well, I'm just gonna tell y'all, I be diving in. I've been diving in all summer. Thank you, Trey Songz. Shoot.
all right. Hey, Chris Kim, Minnie, and Tater Joe, and who is that? The original BBM and Nehru. Thank you all for joining. But so let's get on, because there's some things I want to discuss before we run out of time here. But one of my personal pet peeves is also practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. There's always something, and listen to me, there's always something positive to be thankful for. I don't care what's going on around you. I don't care how much negativity you consume. There's always something positive for you to be thankful for. Taking a few minutes each day just to think about what's going on right in your life. And I tell people this all the time, and Miss O'Neill will tell you that. What's going well in your life? There's always something that's happening good versus the bad. But if you listen to what Keith just said, if you focus on the negativity, then it's going to diminish that positivity that's happening in your life. And that may be all that you need to get through the day. Focusing on that one little small piece of positive energy that you can come up with. Because that helps you to kind of counterbalance the brain's tendency to focus on threats. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. The next thing is to take care of your body. Exercise, get adequate sleep, and healthy eating always improve your ability to handle stress. And we always choose to look at things from a positive perspective. We always make that choice to look at things from a positive perspective. We are in control of our thoughts and our actions. So choosing to remain positive despite adverse and negative circumstances will allow for positive outcomes regardless of the negativity. So choosing to remain positive despite adverse and negative circumstances will allow for us to become, allow for positive outcomes regardless of what's happening. Now here's a good question that you can always ask yourself. So y'all write this down. Just stamp it in your brains. Hey, Callie, how are you, sweetie? A good question to ask ourselves in terms of negativity is this information helping me? Is this information helping me take meaningful action, or is it only increasing my anxiety? If the information, when we're talking about social media, the news outlets, television, radio, friends and family members, clergy people, politicians, anybody from any walk of life, ask yourself, is the information they're giving you allowing you to take meaningful actions, or is it only increasing your anxiety? And if it's only increasing your anxiety, it's okay for you to step away from it. There ain't no sin in that. If it's increasing your anxiety, you can step away from it. All right? Ultimately, peace does not come from a world without problems. It comes from developing the wisdom to face your problems. The wisdom to face your problems and reality without letting fear or negativity take control of your life. That's the wisdom that we gain, or we need to gain. So we don't let fear or negativity take control of our lives. Now, here's the nitty gritty. This is what I want y'all to know, because this is the clinical perspective, the psychological perspective, and the way we're created in our anatomy. So why does negativity spread so rapidly? Believe it or not, there's a science behind it. Why does negativity spread so rapidly? All right, I'm going to give you the answer. Negativity spreads rapidly because of a combination of how our brain works. That's number one. Our brain works a certain way to recognize threats, how people communicate, and how modern media is designed. So most media outlets are designed to pass negativity first, because they know how our brains are wired, and it gets those likes, it gets the participation, it gets the views. So they are designed that way. And most of you probably need to think about it from that perspective. Your social media is designed to communicate negativity to you. Here's the reasons why. They understand this. They understand this. And after tonight, you're going to understand it too. Our brains are wired to notice any threat. So when they see fighting on TV, or when they see something that says, oh man, it's coming to Atlanta, or it's coming to California, or it's coming here, or these people are here, our brains are wired to notice those threats. Psychologists call this the negativity bias. So there's a psychological name for it. The negativity bias. Now, what does that mean? All right, thousands of years ago, paying attention to danger, when the people paid attention to danger, it helped humans to survive. If they ignored or missed that threat, it could become deadly. So they were taught, and it's in our nature, to overlook good news and recognize the threat. So that's the reason that negativity spreads quicker than positivity. Because back in the day, and not only thousands of years ago, the way that we were created to recognize the threat, because the threat meant the difference between survival or death. Good news didn't. That's not to say that good news was not important. I'm explaining to you why the negativity travels far faster than positivity. It's because many, many years ago, it helped people to survive. And guess what? That same instinct exists today. You have deep down inside of you that survival instinct. Let's say fight or flight, that's built in. You don't have to be taught that. That's built in. If you think you can beat somebody up and there's only two of y'all, then you try to beat them up. If you think that you can't beat them up and there's only the two of y'all and nobody will ever know, you run, fight or flight. So that instinct is already built in us and has been for thousands and thousands of years. Here's the other reason that it travels so fast. Negative emotions are contagious. Negative emotions are contagious. Fear, anger and outrage are some very, very strong emotions. Fear, anger, and outrage are very strong emotions. When people experience those things, they're more likely to talk about them, share them online, or warn others about it. So again, it goes back to that survival. It goes back to the threat. And when we've mastered that part of our lives, then we go into a protective stage when we're discussing our loved ones and the people we care about. If we recognize a threat, we warn other people of that threat. Now that's the humanistic definition as to why negativity spreads today in this world of social media and the dismantling of that moral compass that we all have, and the camouflaging of the good to highlight the bad. When we have all those things working not for the greater good of all people, but for the benefit of a few, then it's not about survival anymore. That becomes narcissistic behavior, selfishness, and inconsideration for humanity as a whole. We asked last week, how much money do you really need? We got some of the wealthiest people in the world that's doing some of the most devastating and narcissistic things that people could not imagine. And it's all for, well, I guess it could be for a couple different things, but it's all for money, wealth, and control. So that negativity is already influenced by certain prejudices. That's why you have to understand that you can control things that are within your area of control. And we can control how much of that other nonsense that we take in. Bad news grabs attention. Headlines about disasters. You know, we're going to flip the channel. When we hear something, or we flipping channels and we see where that tsunami came in and washed out the whole city, we're going to stay stuck right there till we satisfied with that we have enough of that information. Not only disasters, but also scandals. When we see these scandalous people and these couples and these situations on TV, our eyes are glued to it. Our conflict fighting, that attends to attract more clicks and more viewers than stories about everyday kindness or steady progress. When that stuff is happening, don't nobody want to hear about how great you're doing. Don't nobody want to hear about you're doing better than them. They'd much rather see somebody that's worse off. They'd much rather see some devastation. It's a far cry from that survival instinct that we have. As a result, news and social media often give negative events more visibility. They understand that, so that's why you have a lot more negativity than you have anything good that's happened. Our social media outlets, they highlight and they amplify emotions. We're looking for an emotional response, because if we get an emotional response, then we're going to get more views, more clicks, more likes, and we're going to make more money. If I can evoke that emotional response from you, content that triggers strong reactions, especially anger or shock, is often shared more widely, allowing it to spread much faster than calm or nuanced information, which makes sense. Nuanced information, calm information. Information or content that triggers anger or shock is shared more than anything else. And I don't have to tell you all that. You know that. And I'm guilty as well. I mean, I wish we weren't wired that way, but we're wired that way. When we see that fight on TV or that fight on social media, I see it all the time. People beating the brakes off people at parties, at the clubs, in the middle of the street, gangs, and all of that stuff. We have to watch it. Again, we're far removed from the true meaning of why negativity spread back in the day, because of the survival instinct that we have. This is just utter nonsense, and it becomes more popular than anything else, and that's because social media gives it the platform, and they're going to promote it more. So you're not going to see the promoting. Every now and then when you watch the news and you see the firefighter winning the house and save the babies and the cats, for every one of those, there are 10, 20,000 negative events that you've already seen before you even get to that. So just be mindful how these things are designed to get into your living room and to influence the way you think. But the encouraging part is that positivity spreads, it can spread as well. Maybe not as quickly, but it can spread. Acts of kindness, hope, generosity, courage, and encouragement can influence others. They just often spread more quietly. So if you're affected by it or receive something from someone that assists you, it spreads quietly. It's not talked about. It's not publicized at all over social media. It ain't like winning The Price is Right or Family Feud. Everybody ain't cheering because everybody don't know about it. Now, when we are consumed with negativity, y'all hear me out. When we are consumed with negativity, and this is the truth, it can affect nearly every part of our lives. Our thoughts, our emotions, and our relationships, our physical health, and our decision making. All of those different departments of our lives are affected when we consume too much negativity. Tell me I'm wrong. I guarantee you, anybody that's full of negativity, there ain't nothing happy happening at home. You have to rid yourself of that stuff before the positivity can be noticed or utilized. Our thinking becomes distorted. When we are clouded with all negativity, we can't even think straight because we don't even know what to believe anymore. And the worst thing is this. We begin to expect the worst, always overlooking the good, and believe that the problems that we're experiencing are bigger or more permanent than they really are. We believe that the problems that we're experiencing are bigger and more permanent than they really are. Our stress levels increase. Constant exposure to negativity can keep the body's stress response activated. And we have that built in. That's just how we're made. We have automatic protections that we're built with. And if you utilize them too much, it is unhealthy. So you're not supposed to always have your stress response activated. That's unhealthy. That leads to high blood pressure, strokes, heart attacks, losing weight, getting ugly early, getting older quicker. All of those.
Who the hell's getting ugly earlier and getting old? Well, some people don't get ugly early. They just
It
they
does.
already be ugly from the inside out. Shoot, they don't get
I'm
ugly.
telling you the physical things.
Oh, this is Jesus.
Because if you have too much negativity, you ain't gonna look pretty. Skin gonna start, looking bad, hair falling out. That ain't pretty.
And then don't be over here talking about no fat people either, cause I done got a little chunky, a little fluffy.
I went opposite. I said you're gonna be losing weight. That's what I said.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm talking about.
So all that leads to tension, headaches, fatigue, and difficulty sleeping. Our well-being declines. Our emotional well-being declines as well. We become more anxious, more irritable, more discouraged, more angry, more hopeless. All of those things.
And mind you, I just wanted to bring up this point. Before, I don't know, it was a few week talks ago, and I was talking about my situation and the reassignment. That's all I'm gonna say. So if you follow me, then you'll be hearing little tidbits about that. But you can be in a negative situation where people are negative and negative things going on, but that don't mean you have to be that way. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, it rub off." No, it don't. When you finally get to the point where you have come to the realization that you really want to be out of this situation and you really want things to change for you, that can be going on around you all day and you just be oblivious to whatever going on.
Yeah, that's true. But we've already said that, Joya. We've already said that it's a choice. You can choose to be any way you want to be. Just keep in mind that there are certain things that we can't control. We can't control what people in power do. We can only control the things that are within our little small part of the world that we can actually influence that change or protect or whatever we need to do. But the other part is just reacting to it and how much we allow in our lives. As Keith said, a lot of the stuff that you see on TV, all the negativity, it don't happen anyway. And if you're smart enough, you can see how ludicrous it is from the beginning. When people start talking about whether the atom bomb's going to blow up the world and all that. Listen, that's a consideration you can have, and that's good talk around the water cooler. But that ain't going to happen. Because we forgetting one thing, that the creator of all of this is still in charge. And if he wanted this destroyed, he would have destroyed it. Why would he allow someone else to destroy it? He already said if you're spiritual and not religious, if you're spiritual, you know that he said this earth will remain. When he destroyed it the first time, he destroyed the evil, the people. He did not destroy the earth. So some of the stuff that we hear, we just have to learn to divorce ourselves from utter nonsense and things that really don't make any sense at all. They're just scare tactics for people who aren't really conscious and aware of what's happening. So if I leave you in a state of fright and I make sure that I give you this little piece, you're not going to be concerned with over here. Not because you're getting a little piece, but because you're fearful. So you're not going to take your eyes off of this little piece that I'm giving, and I'm still in the whole cake. So just be mindful that a lot of the stuff that we see on the news and television is never going to happen. And if it does happen, stay prayed up so that you can get on that boat. All right? Now, even our decision making becomes more difficult. We become pessimists, which causes us to avoid opportunities. It causes us to overreact to problems. And we make choices based on our emotions rather than wisdom. We've talked about this on several lives ago. You can't make choices, emotional choices, and expect a good outcome. I haven't seen it. You can't act on your emotions. You act on your wisdom and your logic. Now, can that be coupled with how you feel? You feel happy, you feel good. That's an emotion. But the decision has to be made on wisdom rather than only on that emotion. Now, here's the other important thing that you all must understand. And we got 1.5K in here. Thank all of you for joining us. Hey, Frederick, what's happening, boss? That's my cousin. He just he only had like 3 body parts left inside of him. He went and got 2 of those taken out about a week ago. So kudos to you, man. Walk around like an empty shell. All right, but anyway, I'm just messing with it. But anyway, so here's one of the most important things. We lose joy and gratitude. When we allow so much negativity to consume us, we lose joy and we lose gratitude. When our attention is fixed on everything that's wrong, let me say that again. When our attention is fixed on everything that's wrong, we stop noticing our blessings and opportunities that still exist. Just because something negative is going on in the world, you still have the opportunities you had before that event or that news reached your ears. But when you concentrate on it and you put all your attention on that negativity, you're going to miss those opportunities. All right? All right, DeJoy and Keith, I'm about to close out. I started to get hard and heavy and start preaching, but I'm going to give y'all a moment before I close it out.
We good. You could go and get hot. I'm fanning enough over here for everybody.
Go ahead, Bishop. You close it out. You close it out. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So in conclusion, listen, negativity is a powerful force because it naturally captures our attention. It is a positive force because it naturally captures our attention. We're built that way. The negativity doesn't have to do anything but present itself. That's all it has to do. So it doesn't have to do anything extra. It naturally captures our attention. but it does not have to control our lives. That's the caveat. It naturally captures our attention, but it does not have to control our lives. By intentionally focusing on truth, hope, gratitude, and the things that we can control, we strengthen our ability to face any of life's challenges. We strengthen our ability to face any of life's challenges with wisdom and resilience instead of negativity and fear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. This was another great one, which we knew it would be. We love all of you. You take care. We'll see you all next Wednesday. Same time. Tell all your friends about We Talk. We're here every Wednesday night right on TikTok. So, on Vida saying, au revoir, au goodbye. We love you, and we'll see you all next Wednesday. Take care.
Peace, guys.